It's Monday on Daily Delivery. Michael Rand here. Patrick Reusse with me as usual. Patrick, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good. You are better than the Twins, maybe not as good as the Timberwolves, and we'll see about the Vikings. We're going to talk about all three of those teams. But a week ago, Patrick, on this show, we talked about what a daunting matchup Phoenix was for the Timberwolves, and I do believe that is still true. But my goodness, Wolves looked really good, as an understatement, on Saturday, routing Phoenix up 1-0 in the series. Game two tomorrow. I didn't expect that. I don't know what you expected, but that wasn't it for me.
No, they really. I liked the matchups he came out with, and then he played Alexander Walker a lot to
Yes,
give him some great defense, and that makes a difference. But to me, I think the thing that we didn't think about, and of course Phoenix missing shots had a lot to do with it. But 52-28 on the boards, and I think Rudy had 9 rebounds in the first quarter. Is that right? Something
something
like
like that.
that. He
Yeah,
had 16 for the game. So you look at a game like this and you wonder, how is Rudy going to be a factor with all these guys out there running around on the perimeter? But getting every rebound helps. If he gets all the rebounds, and he had I know that the Anthony Edwards and Nikhil got all the credit, but I think Rudy had a whole lot to do with that too, because he
yes,
he did. They couldn't get to the basket, and he got every rebound. And the big donkey for them that they use in the middle, they they that guy's had big games against the Timberwolves this year when they went 3-0 against them,
yeah.
because nobody pays any attention to him, and he. Plus, he's a good passer, but he didn't do. He made 3 or 4 layups or something, but he didn't do anything. And it was they took him apart in the third quarter, and of course Edwards was great in the third quarter. And after having a very poor half, it is interesting that I think everybody's kind of joking about it, that Mike Connolly, who's a has a bit of a understated character, but basically telling the team, "Win it for me," which
Yeah,
is pretty funny. And then he goes out and has a clinker, but
yeah.
didn't make any difference. He went 2 for 12. He shouldn't be taking 12 shots, in my opinion.
No.
He's a guy that when they absolutely leave him open, take 6 or 7 shots, and make an occasional three. But I suppose they were leaving him open because they're not going to, when they're making their plans, they're not going to say guard Conley. So they give him some shots. But yeah, it was a very impressive win. And now you got to try to repeat it and beat them by 4 or 5 points in a grinding, grueling game, because Phoenix is going to come out. I actually listened to the Phoenix post-game show. They got
Wow.
Tom Chambers and
Okay.
some of those
Yeah.
people on TV, and they're saying you can't let them have those hands all over you like the Timberwolves did, and not try to drive to the basket and get them to call a foul. You got to,
Yeah.
they're going to have, if you're just standing there and waiting to shoot a three, they're gonna let you put a hand on them. But if you drive, you can force them to foul you. You're going to get some calls against them. And even in the first half, the Timberwolves had some calls against them. But I think it's going to be there's going to be a lot more Phoenix whining about the officials, because and trying to convince them to call more fouls, because they did let the Timberwolves, who are a much more physical team, be much more physical. So, and they did take care of Booker too. What, 5 for 16, something like that, and that's really key, because I go into that game and I think that Devin Booker's the best player on the floor, but he was about the sixth or eighth best player on the floor on Saturday. So it was a very impressive performance, and a tribute to Chris Finch too, who once in a while can. Some of our basketball experts in town like to criticize him on occasion for this or that. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
I think he's really good, because he's he knows it's the NBA. You're going to have some clunkers. There's going to be some clunkers. But at this time, when you get to this point, you can't have any clunkers. And now, if you go down to Phoenix, if you're ahead 2-0, you go down to Phoenix, and they get you down 15 in the start of the fourth quarter, then okay, let them, okay, that's their game. So, but this one, Saturday obviously is the biggest game of the series because it showed you, hey, not only can you compete, you might be the better team,
Right.
but now Tuesday becomes huge. If you can repeat that and go down there 2-0, I don't know what the odds are when you're ahead 2-0 in a series, but it's probably got to be 85% in NBA history or 90%. So anyway, that's my theory. I thought they were really fantastic, even with not everybody playing great, but enough guys playing great. And the bench. I mean, the other big thing is the bench. What was the bench scoring? It was
Crazy. Yeah, I mean,
Phoenix,
you figured it might be too, but yeah, it
yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
a couple things that I thought of. One, I don't think we've seen the Wolves play great a lot lately. This felt like
No,
more like
no.
how they were playing early in the year, where when they were surprisingly good. When we were like, wow, this might
Yes.
be a really good team. We just hadn't seen them play
Yeah.
this well for a long time.
No, a month. I've been saying that for a month that they're just not playing great. I mean, they come out and they're playing the dogs of the league and they're down 12 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they made several of walkover games hard because they played so bad in the first half. But it's the NBA. It's they're not there's 82 of them. The fellas aren't going to get. You're not going to have their full attention for every game, and
No,
it's
that's
it's
true.
impossible. I mean, it's a grind, man, and everybody talks about the grind that hockey is, and it certainly is. But in hockey, you're playing 19 guys, and they're jumping over the boards every minute and a half. This is if you're good, you're playing 34 minutes a night, and it's a grind. And some days you're just gonna say, you're sitting in the locker room before the game, and Finchie's trying to tell you now, come out there and jump on him, and you're saying, it's Washington. We don't have to.
Right.
We're gonna beat him eventually. But
Right.
he definitely had their full attention, and he was right all week when he said, "Hey, it was perfect for us to, not be in the play-in game, so they could
Right.
spend a week. So they could spend a week, and they didn't do much the first 2 days, right? Monday and
No.
Tuesday. And then Monday they didn't practice. Tuesday, I don't know if they practiced or not, but they didn't. They didn't do anything formal. So he let them rest for a couple of days too before they started grinding. So
Yeah, they
anyway, it
looked
was
like they had some fresh legs a little bit, just from not having had to play and grind for so long. Because what their last regular season game was Sunday, and then they don't have to play till Saturday again. I thought too, the way they deployed Cat. I mean, he was good in the first half.
yes,
He got him points when they needed points, kind of stabilized the offense, but didn't overdo it. He played like 27 minutes, maybe got plenty of NAS in the third quarter. Like you use your depth, don't be
yes,
afraid, like you said, don't be afraid to kind of exploit your advantage there. Like you don't want to go 11 deep in the playoffs, but the Suns played like seven guys, maybe. Like you can wear a team down over the course, especially if I don't know what Grayson Allen's status is going to be for Tuesday, but
no, it looked
he
like
left
he
that
hurt
game with
himself.
the ankle.
Yes. And here's the deal. I didn't realize this. I read Hines' piece early this morning. I didn't realize that the starters play 14 minutes together,
Together.
basically during the game. They
Yeah,
played 14 minutes, and that's normal. That's like
right.
14 and a half, 15 minutes during the season. So we spent all our time worrying about the starters. But, with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, they usually sub
Right.
somebody else in, and it ends up being a mismatch the rest of the day. So
Right.
that's when your depth, the fact that they have Walker and Cat I mean Walker and Reed on the bench is sixth, seventh men. They're not many better, right, in the
No,
league,
I agree with
right?
that.
And now they got it figured out. So they got two guys that they can play a little bit instead of Connolly too, if they want to go that. I mean, a lot of times they don't
Yeah.
even have a point guard on the court, but when they do, they got they can play Morris for 7 minutes and McLaughlin for 5 minutes, and sometimes they play them together. So
Right.
Now they're not going to have Kyle Anderson, so it'll be interesting to see if that hurts him much or not. That probably just shortens the bench, right?
Yeah, if he can't go, we'll see. But yeah, we got a hip
Well,
pointer,
didn't
right?
they
So
say the hip pointer? He's not
that's
going to
usually
play
not
with a
good.
hip pointer. No, he's not going to play with a hip pointer. So, of
Yeah,
course, they're lucky it's not last year because he was much more important to the team last year
yeah,
than he is
yeah,
this
he
year.
was, especially when
Yeah.
Cat was out. Like you saw that again. Like his game got elevated when Cat was out again
Mhm.
this year. He's just more natural for him to play in that role. The big question now is, can they do it again, or can they do something close to it again? Because
Oh yeah.
it did feel like a game where almost everything went right. They got out to a pretty good start. They had a lead by halftime. They expanded it in the third quarter. Ant was making shots. Phoenix was missing shots. Like you don't want to get too comfortable with the idea of, okay, it's going to be like, hey, we can do that again. Like you got to go do it again if you're going to do it again.
Okay, let me give you my personal guarantee. With two
Okay,
minutes to go, you're not going to know who's going to win this game.
that feels about right.
That's going to be. It's going to be. Okay, the Timberwolves just called timeout. They got the ball and they're up. They're down two. It's going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be a battle. You're not going to blow them out again. That's not happening. So
No,
Frank Vogel's a good coach too. So they'll make some adjustments. They are troubled if they lose Allen. They're going to. Who's gonna have to play then? I'm not a Grayson Allen fan just as a human being, but he can make shots, and he didn't. What he only took 3 shots, so that was an interesting thing. They had Connolly guard him at the start of the game, right? Because
I
that
think
was
so.
the
Yeah.
matchup. That was the matchup. So anyway, yeah, it was a really terrific performance, and that they took down the curtains to do. I mean, they took down the
Yeah.
tarps upstairs, right? Put in the old 19,000. So the only thing I don't like about the game, and I saw it again in Oklahoma City yesterday. Whiteouts. I hate whiteouts.
We're
Get
doing
rid
it.
of whiteouts.
We're doing it
It's too
again for
hard.
game two. I saw we're doing it again for game
It's
two.
too hard for me to watch a game with the whiteouts. I mean, I'll be at the game Tuesday. I didn't go Saturday, but I plan to be at the game Tuesday. But it's not good for TV, the whiteouts. I don't like the whiteouts. So it's
Well,
just where why do they have whiteouts? Don't they want people to show up in their jerseys and their equipment and everything? So
I don't know.
I don't. Just we started it all. Terry Robbins is responsible for this whole
Yes,
thing, and his
the hanky.
waving flag. She ruined postseason baseball because second inning, somebody gets 2 strikes on them. The whole crowd's up screaming and hollering, even though they don't want to be, and they waving that stuff. And then you got to wear the t-shirts and just play the damn game. Come on, stop that nonsense. You got the fans involved. You don't need t-shirts, for goodness sakes. So
Speaking of the Twins, Patrick, 7-13 now. 20 games in again. It's not too far into the season, but it does have a little bit of the feeling of getting late early already.
they're eight,
Are they this bad? Are they this bad?
they're eight games behind after 20 games.
Yeah,
That's almost historic. But they got the mighty whiteys coming
right.
in, who are three and
They're
18,
so bad. You see
and I
their run
figured it
differential
out.
is yeah.
I figured it out. The Twins, if they stay at this pace, will finish 64 games out of first place. But the White Sox will be 98 games out of first
98
place.
games back.
So it'll be a battle. But the White Sox intended to be bad. The
Yes.
Twins did not. But I was contemplating this. In fact, I woke up about an hour ago and I started contemplating.
Okay.
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 Here's the big problem
Okay.
when I look at this team. I know we got shifts and we got very productive shortstops and it's changed a little. But baseball has always been a game where a catcher, shortstop, second base, and center field were the defensive positions.
Yep.
And the corner outfields and third base and first base were the offensive positions. Nobody ever said, I'm going to play this guy at first base because, boy, he's a really good fielder. We say, boy, we get a good fielder, but it's an offensive position. You look at this team right now without Correa and without Royce Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
they're god awful in the middle of the infield, fielding wise. Two defensive positions, two of the most important defensive positions, and they're putrid on the corners hitting. So,
Yeah.
you got Kyle Farmer's 3 for 38 or something, and Carlos Santana, God love him, good player, looks like a dead body at the plate. So they brought in Carlos Santana because he was a good fielder at first base. Who cares? Kirilloff is good enough. He's not going to get hit in the face with a ground ball, okay? He's good enough to play first base. There's now obviously not having Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa, your two best players, and your best part of your team is your left part of the infield, is not planned. And the fact that you have to play Willie Castro at shortstop every day because not only did Correa get hurt, but Brooks Lee, your hot
Right.
prospect's got a bad back, or what's his
I think
problem?
it was
I
a
don't
back
know.
problem. Yeah.
I don't know what he is. So he's did nothing. We don't hear anything about him. Is he undergoing life-threatening back surgery or something? What the hell's going on? But what I'm saying is they're just completely screwed up now. It's not a competitive team. You look at the lineup, they're hitting
It's
195.
terrible.
195. Are they this bad? Yes, they're this bad. Right now, they're this bad. Yesterday, they load the bases up. This Casey Mize hasn't pitched much at all. He's coming back from surgery. He loads up the base in the first inning. Now, Austin Martin hit a ball hard to right back to the mound, and
Yeah.
didn't get any runs out of that first inning. But they don't get, the highlight of their last 10 days is they hit 3 sacrifice flies in a game the other day. So to win a game on Saturday, but they're just a complete mess. And meanwhile, Sonny Gray pitched his third straight outstanding game for the Cardinals. He's pitched 3 games. He's got a 1.02 ERA. Now I think he had to leave after 6. He missed the start of the year.
Right.
But I was saying, okay, 3 years, 75 is too much. But if you offer him 3 years, 60 before the season ends last year, what's he do with it? He
Right.
might take it.
Yeah.
I
More
mean,
close to it. Yeah.
they have messed this up so bad. They announced that they weren't going to spend the
Yes.
money, which is one of the dumbest things that's ever been done in sports. If you're not, and why? Why, when I had my talk with Glenn Taylor way back
Mm-hmm.
in mid-February,
Yeah.
what he did, now you have your separate companies and you budget them independently, right?
Yeah.
So when he had to give Carl Anthony Towns $126 million, he went to the bank and borrowed it on the,
Sure.
okay, we're going to make this back someday, hopefully.
Right.
Well, why didn't they go to the bank and borrow it? They own banks, don't they? Why don't they
Right.
go to the bank and borrow some
Yeah.
money until they find out what their TV deal is?
Right.
The fans, I think a lot of us kind of defended. I was not outraged about the fact that they didn't spend any money, but that they cut money.
Right.
But you look at it now, the outraged fans were correct. They have messed up a good deal, and this is a pathetic looking operation right now. And Cleveland cut payroll too, but they got an idea what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
These guys don't have an idea what they're trying to do. Now I like Austin Martin a lot, but he's not a left fielder.
No.
He's a shortstop or something. What's he doing there? I mean, why is he playing? He wants somebody in left field who can hit. It's it's a bad. There's no. We were talking a couple of years ago. You read people that they're experts on the minor leagues and stuff. All these players are coming. Where the hell are they?
Yeah. I want to
Where
know
are
that
they?
too. I
Where
don't
are
know.
they? There aren't any prospect. There's one. that Emmanuel Rodriguez at Double A apparently is going to be a
Yeah,
player. And
sure. Let's go.
look at the St. Paul. St. Paul gets shut out again yesterday. They have no players.
Let's
They
go.
yeah, they don't have any players. This
So,
idea that they got organizational depth is horse manure. You know, you look at two drafts. They got two drafts where their first pick was Sabato, and then the shortstop is even still in baseball. What was his
no.
name?
I,
Kiki Coco or
oh,
some damn thing. What was his name?
I can't
He's I don't
remember.
even know if they cut him or not.
Go,
If
go.
not, he's
Yeah.
in the low A or something. I mean, two number ones. They're right now. They are a terrible looking organization. Right now, it does not look good because Louis Barlin's got to go back.
Oh,
So you're
yeah.
going to call up Simeon Ridge Richardson, I suppose, and give him Richardson. You got to let him have a chance, right? He
Yeah.
pitched one game, he got him out for 5 innings. My
Right.
God, let's have a parade. Let's bring him over from St. Paul on a chariot or something.
Carry
To
him
give
over.
give him a chance with flower petals coming because he might be able to pitch 5 innings. It's brutal right now, and it's just a terribly now as again not having Lewis, not having Correa. It's fine. They got Buxton at center, but there's no depth
No.
to make up for guys being hurt, and they just did stupid things. Carlos Santana, $5.5 million. Okay, that's not much. It's paltry, but spend it on a pitcher. Don't put it in your Sonny Gray pot and borrow the other money from the bank that you own and give him $22 million a year for 3 years. I mean, God, it is awful. It's awful right now, and I don't. Anyone who's disgusted with them, I can't argue with you. I cannot argue with you. You're right. They're just a complete mess right now. And now I haven't seen him in a week or 10 days, but who else is disgusted? The manager.
Yes. Every time he
Yeah,
talks, he's bad. He's
yeah.
mad every time he
This
talks.
is yeah, and that's good. He is mad, but look at your team.
It's bad.
You know why they're bad? Because they're bad. That's why they're bad. It's not because they aren't trying. They're
No.
bad because they're bad.
The lineup
You
doesn't
know,
scare you. The rotation
no,
doesn't scare you. Like Paddock hasn't been
no.
any better than
Paddock's
Varland.
pitching today, and we were going to have a parade for Paddock because he went back out there and after puking up his guts for 4 innings, he was going to go out. He was
Gave him some
perfectly
more.
willing. He was perfectly willing to go out there and give up some more line drives. So it's
So
I didn't like him. I didn't like him
I
in
didn't love
spring
him either.
training.
No.
I didn't like him that well when everybody was saying 92 wins and stuff
Right.
like that. And
Like with who?
yeah, I didn't like him that well. And then the third baseman got hurt.
Gets hurt in the third inning of the first game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the season. The season. As I said, that the year that they opened in Milwaukee with Alex Colomé
Yeah. Was that
as the closer, and I said
21 or 22?
I said they didn't screw up that season until opening day. But this is the same. The season was over when Royce Lewis didn't make it past second base on his double.
Yeah.
He's got to. But how many guys have been able to carry a 2,500 slugging percentage for 2 months?
That's true.
It's pretty good. And he's over there and he's trying and working out and still as enthused as ever. But it's by the time he gets back, it's going to be too late. Even in this division, it's going to be too late.
So answer's probably a little bit of everything, but what are we blaming the most for this? Is it the payroll where you just weren't able to do everything you could do? Is it Falvey and Levine not kind of understanding how to reshape this with less money? Is it the manager not understanding how to manage this team? Is it the players just underperforming? How do you divide up the blame? I've got some ideas, but I want to hear what you think.
Well, I don't blame the manager at all.
Yeah.
You think he wants to play Willie Castro at shortstop every day? For God's sakes, no. He's supposed to be a utility guy that you use 90 games a year at different places. I think that they have not drafted that well, and despite what claims they might make. I mean, and I don't. I blame the guys that are putting the organization together right now, because you don't. Right now, it's like you're looking at the Vikings. Okay, I like what they've done in this, obviously, in this offseason, but you look around and the Detroit and the Bears and the Packers, to a degree, are all looking better. Not a powerful division, but they're all looking better than the Vikings right
Yes.
now, as far as some of the decisions they made. A lot of them traced to Spielman out there, but right now, you look at least Detroit and Kansas City both got a lot more young players that are good than this team does. They don't have, what young players? I mean, I
Patrick
said, I
Reusse,
like
yeah.
Austin Martin, but maybe as a leadoff hitter or a guy hitting eighth or something, but not for 650 at bats or something. And what else they got? Who's here that, Wallner came up and had a good 2 months, and you wondered if he's going to start being a strikeout artist again, and he was, and I don't know. Larnick was, not. I mean, Royce Lewis is the only guy who has been coming that you were excited about, and now, it's player development. If you ask me, it's that's the problem to me.
And pitchers, where are the pitchers at?
Pitchers.
Where are the pitchers?
Where are the pitchers? That too. I mean, even last year, how many of their starting pitchers in the last 10 years who've been competent were homegrown? Hardly any, right?
Yeah.
Everybody came from the outside. Pablo
Barrios,
came from
right?
the outside. Sonny Gray came from the outside. Yeah, Jose Barrios is pitching great, by the way. But they haven't developed any pitching. That's player development. There's not,
Was Ober a draft and develop, or is he? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, he's one of their guys, but it took a long time.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. Look at their bullpen. So a bunch of, their prospective bullpen before everybody got hurt. A bunch of 29-year-olds who they picked up from, good. We got Justin Topa. He's 32 or some damn thing, and he's hurt. So, I think it's a mess.
It is it's a mess right now, and it got bad in a hurry. And there was no starting pitching depth, and whatever they thought they were going to get from DeSclafani, which maybe wasn't much anyway. But if that was your only even wave at it move to add any kind of starting pitching in the offseason, that to me was the biggest offense of the front office, and not addressing that in any other way.
I think they have some flaws in the front office, obviously, but they're not stupid enough to think that this guy hasn't pitched for 2 years and just basically got traded because the Giants made Seattle take him so they would take Robbie Ray in his contract. And then when you call Seattle, they say, yeah, we want Polanco, but you're going to have to take DeSclafani back.
Yeah.
They didn't get him thinking he was going to pitch for them. They knew he was not, and it was not healthy enough to be a pitcher. That was never part of the plan. But again, as far as stupidity is concerned, you advertise him as your fifth starter.
Yes.
Or he's going to be your fifth starter. Don't do that. And also, don't tell the public you're not going to spend any money. Don't proudly proclaim that you're going to cut their payroll $30 million. And by the way, how much of they got? Don't we guess that they have about 40 coming in instead of 55 or
from
whatever?
The TV money? Yeah, we don't. They have not made that public. Of course, they'll never tell us.
They don't want to make it public because it's probably 80%, and they cut. They cut it as though they were going to get 20 million.
Yeah.
Is why they cut it. But why did they? We're seeing the immaturity of Joe Pohlad here with the idea that we're going to announce to the public. I know you had a good time at the ballpark last year when we finally won a playoff game when most of you were not even born yet, because the last time, you
Right.
know, numerous of your attendees you were still a gleam in the old man's eye, as we say,
Yes.
when we won last playoff game. And I know you had a lot of fun, but wait till you see what we got in mind for you next
The
year.
fun is over.
New food products. Okay,
Yeah.
they're not going to have to worry about those new food products because there's going to be nobody there to eat the food. So
So what
anyway,
happened? Yeah, what happens if they've got 7 against the White Sox in the next handful of days? Like, what if
what
they?
if they split?
Yeah, like what? I mean,
What if the
yeah.
Whitings come in and win 3 out of 4?
Oh, all right. I mean, then
Don't
it's
bet
gonna.
against it.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Because the Whiteys can't. I mean, Eloy's back and he hit a home run yesterday. He might. He might. I don't know. They're great though. What we need here is Ozzie Guillen on our post game show. That's
Oh
what we
yeah.
need instead of Lodge. Lodge is. Even Lodge was having a hard time sugarcoating the last one, but Ozzie comes on and and the White Sox post game show. It's a comedy act because he just rips the hell out of him every day. It's amazing, but they're terrible, and they are hitting 188,
Yes,
and the
it's a
Twins are
race.
hitting 195. So expect quick games there when it's supposed to rain today, right? Later today.
Nah, I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
actually supposed to. It's the forecast is improving, so I think you're supposed to get.
Okay.
They're
Oh,
supposed to get.
good. Well, get out there. The Wolves aren't playing tonight, so you can go to the ball game and you can get yourself a fine seat. Just don't want to sit upstairs because that's closed. So,
You think the
I
manager's
am
more frustrated with the team he's been given or the way the team he's been given is playing?
A,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
he's not going to say it.
Yeah.
He's not going to say it, but he's obviously, I mean, and a lot of it is injuries. And
Yeah.
for instance, as I said, he's putting Willie Castro at shortstop every day. That was not plan A, and that was
No.
not plan B.
I don't even know if it was plan
Brooks
C.
Lee, that was plan C at best.
Yeah.
So, that's, I mean, what's Pedro Florman doing? Let's give him a
Pedro
call. He
Florimon.
might be
Wow.
somewhere
It's a
in the
deep cut.
Mexican League. Might be somewhere in the. We should start looking at those Mexican League rosters. So I think Fernando Rodney's still chucking down there.
Where's
So,
Can we get Samuel Deduno back for the rotation?
Royal Credit Union's smart checking accounts offer no monthly fees and no minimum balance. Enjoy financial freedom when you open your Royal Credit Union smart checking account online at rcu.org/go-checking. Insured by NCUA.
You are optimistic about the Vikings, Patrick. You wrote a column about that.
Yes, I'm just optimistic that they got rid of Cousins because it's
Yes.
spending $45 million for him to come in for this club would have been absolutely stupidity.
Yes.
And missing the opportunity to get your quarterback of a future this year when there's a lot of quarterbacks would have been stupid too. So you got to get, and they say, only 50% of them make it. Well, this group, maybe 100% of them make it. Who knows? Because they're, it's pretty good. And, I know that they get those draft classes, quarterback classes get bragged up, but this has got a different vibe to it than most of them, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
You supposedly got 4 guys, different skill sets, but pretty good. And I like Penix too. But I just think that they made 2 good decisions. You get rid of Cousins for all that money, and you let Hunter go too, because if you give him $24 million a year for 2 years, each of 2 years, what do you think? Out of 17 games, 34 games, how many are you going to get? 25?
25.
20?
I was going to say 25. Yeah.
20, 25. I don't know. I think they made good decisions. I like bringing in Aaron Jones. Now he's got a history of injury, hamstring troubles too. But when he plays, man, he's good. And you're paying him a paltry $7 million. And I just, they got a couple of defensive backs in here. They're going to draft probably another defensive back. And I don't know. If they don't get one of the top four, they might as well just wait at 11 or the 23 and take Penix,
I would think so.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. We don't know who they love. They profess to love multiple people depending on where they wind up.
Yeah, but they're not going to get. It sounds like Mike Reusse is pretty good. Said that the Patriots would have to have a historic deal to trade number 3, to trade the third pick. So that means you give them both of these number ones, and you got to go get them another number 1. And then they said. And then what?
And maybe more.
The Justin Herbert rumor is they want 3 number 1s and Darrisaw if you want to go get him.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, I'd love to have him, and I know he's making an ungodly amount of money, but you're not going to do that, for goodness sakes.
No.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, come on in here and play quarterback. But when you got your left tackles gone, you're going to get killed for a couple of years.
Sorry.
Just like you were out with the Chargers. Sorry, you're going to get beat around. But the idea that they got to improve the offensive line, they've been drafting first and second rounders in the offensive line for 5 or 6 years.
Yes.
And it isn't that bad. If you got Darrisaw at left tackle and O'Neal at right tackle,
you got to fix the interior.
Yeah, well, Bradbury was the Pro Football Focus liked him last year, like 5th or something. And I don't know what that means. And then one of the guards is. Did they let the Reisner go?
He's sitting out there. Yeah, he's unsigned
still
at this point.
Signed. He must want more money, and they're willing to pay him. Huh?
Yeah, again.
So it's kind of like the Twins with pitchers, huh?
But so you think McCarthy is going to be the guy?
Yeah, I think that the first 3 are May's going to go 3rd, right, to Boston, so to New England. So, yeah, I think McCarthy'd be their guy. Yeah, and he's a much better athlete. People think of think of a guy that's playing quarterback at Michigan. You don't think of him as a great athlete, but supposedly he's a great athlete and smart kid and. He shouldn't be downgraded because he played on a good team, should he? I mean, he made all the plays they want. Supposedly, Harbaugh would love to get him, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but he's got to get rid of his guy first.
Right.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So, I think it's going to be. They're going to do something. I think they're pretty sharp out there now. I know a lot of people are. Kwesi's had 2 terrible drafts. Well, he's had 1 terrible draft, right?
22. Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, last year wasn't that bad. So the first one was awful. So, but that's happened before. I got more confidence in him than I ever had in Spielman.
Yeah, these guys at least seem like
Spielman right now would be trying to get 9 6th-rounders. So
they're pair with Kirk Cousins still. They wouldn't have been able to move on from Kirk Cousins. That just would have been their thing. Yeah. Well, the draft is in 3 nights. Mercifully, Patrick, I don't know if I can take any more. What's going to happen? I want to know what's going to happen. Let's just let it happen at this point. But yeah, I had Tom Curran on from NBC Sports Boston last week, and he basically said the same thing you were saying, that Mike Reusse was saying, that it's going to take the Godfather type offer. He was saying, so you don't want to give up everything unless you just can't go. You got to have what Kwesi called the walkaway price, right? You got to say, we got to build. We have other positions other than quarterback. You can love someone as much as you can, but you got to be able to walk away at a certain point and say, not at that price.
How about all of the commenters on Star Tribune story saying, now they should trade Justin Jefferson for a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd. Okay, let's have no star power. Isn't that a good idea?
Yeah, it's a way out of the box, but it's a way into a whole bunch of 6 and 11
but there's
seasons.
You pay him a load of money, but it's you got it. What you're paying him is the $5 million more than the $30 million they added to the cap this year. It's not like if you bring back him and if you bring back Cousins, then you got to bring him back, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, there would have been no sense in cut.
Right.
So you'd be in cap purgatory there. Boom, boom, boom. So now you get rid of Cousins. Plus, as I said in that column, he paid a lot of money for high mediocrity here in the last 6 years. But what was accomplished by having him?
Let's try something else.
Remember how much you disliked him his first 2 or 3 years here, people.
Yes.
So anyway, good luck to you, Atlanta. You can have him. So
well, we'll see how it all shakes out this week. We'll see if the Twins can actually win a game.
Whoever thought we'd be saying, "Thank God we have the Wolves in this town."
Right. Wild is done. Twins are struggling. Hey, the Loons won 3-0. We saw that, so that's good for them.
Hey, I flipped the channel, and there was a soccer game, and I couldn't tell. I thought all their games were on Amazon, but it was on
Apple,
FS1 or something, or Apple or whatever the hell it is. And then I watched it for like a minute, and this guy had a great goal, whoever he is. I never heard of him, but he's, he hit it through just a little crack, a rocket to make it 1-0.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, I got to change. I saw a goal. I'm not going to sit here another hour and a half and wait for another one. That's enough. I'm not going to test my luck here and think that I'm going to see another one, for goodness sakes. I just saw a goal. It was great."
Way to go, Patrick. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next week coming off the draft, other Timberwolves playoff games, and we'll see if the Twins can get themselves straightened out against Chicago.
Yes. Cut into that lead of the Guardians who are pulling away from Kansas City, by the way.
All right, Patrick. Thank you. Bye-bye.